The 8.10 update brings important changes to various aspects of the game. Japanese tanks are introduced, the graphics get a makeover, and hit detection for shells and certain types of objects is modified. Learn more about the changes in our review. Japanese vehicles appear in World of Tanks. This country had an advanced and unique tank building industry, and so the in-game vehicles have turned out quite distinctive. A full branch of medium tanks was introduced. It begins with Renault Atsu. This is a Japanese version of the grandpa of tanks, the Renault FT-17. Its distinctive feature is the armor. Not only is it thicker than that of the French, Chinese, and Soviet versions, but it is the best in the tier overall. Additionally, the Renault Atsu's weapon has a high one-shot damage for the first tier. The second tier of the branch holds two vehicles. The main advantage of the Type 95 Ha-Go is its weapon. It has the best average damage among the Tier 2 tanks, but lacks accuracy. With this combination of traits, the Type 95 Ha-Go gameplay will be exciting. If you are not a fan of the extremes, you should try the Chi-Ni. This vehicle has more balanced characteristics. It doesn't have any obvious advantages, but no real weaknesses either. The third and fourth tiers hold average vehicles, with characteristics much like the other vehicles in their tier and class. The Tier 5 Type 3 Chi-Nu has a weapon with one of the best armor penetration values among its peers. The next vehicle is the Type 4 Chi-To. It's very durable, but the average damage of the cannon is quite low. This is compensated for with a high rate of fire. In most duels, the Chi-To tank will land 2 shots for every one of its opponent. The 7th tier holds Type 5 Chi-Ri. This tank is unremarkable in most parameters. The armor, speed, penetration, and damage are all pretty average, but this vehicle's weapon has a magazine. There is almost no delay between shots, and a full reload is done pretty fast. The STA-1 has a similar situation. Weak armor, mobility comparable to other tanks of the same tier, but the weapon is awesome. Thanks to the gun, this tank has the highest damage per minute among all Tier 8 medium tanks. By the way, you also get nice armor penetration and fantastic elevation angles in the same package. It should be noted that these traits are shared by all high-tier Japanese tanks. The second from the top position is occupied by the Type 61 medium tank. Its armor is really weak. The cannon is very similar to the one mounted on the German Leopard Prototype A. Average damage is the same. Armor penetration is a bit lower, and the firing rate is a little higher. As a result, the Japanese tank has a higher damage per minute. It has the second best DPM among its classmates. This is a mobile vehicle with good elevation angles and a good view range for its tier. The pinnacle of the new branch is the STB-1. The tank looks very much like Leopard and has nearly the same characteristics. The Japanese vehicle has a little more armor, but this reduces mobility a bit. The damage of the weapons is identical. The German has better armor penetration and accuracy, but the STB-1 has a higher rate of fire and damage per minute. And of course, the Japanese tank has those excellent gun elevation angles. Japan was the only country with a developed tank building industry in the mid-20th century, which was not present as a separate branch in World of Tanks. This is now fixed. The vehicles are quite unlike any others, and this reflects the real-life situation. The Japanese designers often found their own way. You can find out more about the Japanese tank production in our Chrysanthemum on the Armor video. In addition to Japanese vehicles, the 8.10 update also adds 2 Soviet ones. The Object 430 version 2 is a Tier 9 medium tank that comes after the Object 416. Its turret is also located in the back of the hull and can only turn through 180 degrees. It houses the 100mm D54 cannon, the same one used on the T-54. The tank is mobile and well-armored. The 10th tier now has the Object 430. It has the same cannon used on all of the Soviet Tier 10 MTs, but it has a lower damage per minute due to a long reload time. This is compensated for with better armor and good speed. Thanks to its armor, the tank is more forgiving of mistakes than the other Tier 10 Soviets. Because of this, you can afford to drive it like a T-54. The 8.10 update introduces a new map, Hidden Village. This is a Japanese-style location with 3 main areas. The village with many destructible houses. A big open canyon. This is good for positional combat with rocks that provide cover from artillery. The central plain, an open area which can be used to quickly rush the enemy base. This map is very beautiful and atmospheric. The village has numerous small details and lush vegetation, and the waters give a great reflection of the serene landscape. 5 existing maps were modified in addition to adding the new one: Karelia, Mines, El Haluf, Airfield, and Steppes. The changes are mostly about balance and the main battle sites. The graphics received many improvements. The lighting model was changed. All the maps had brightness, color, and contrast adjustments, and the light sources were placed correctly. Fog has been completely redesigned. Moving cloud shadows were added. The graphics options now allow selecting from several full-screen filters with different colors, brightness, and contrast adjustments. The sun now casts rays in a lens flare. Motion blur has been added to the background when moving the camera. When you launch the game for the first time after the update, the graphics settings will be configured automatically. You can get more detailed info on the new features and the overall graphic development in our special video, World of Tanks Graphics Evolution. Small objects such as fences, cars, poles, and such can now be shot through with shells. This means that they no longer provide reliable one-shot cover. The enemy not highlighting when aiming near a destroyed tank has been fixed. That concludes the review. We bid you farewell until the next update. Good luck on the battlefield.